evening and the different vignettes that we have set up for you, you know, we have A, B, C, and D. You know, many different options. And again, we go back to maybe our budget is $5,000 for the hall. You know, but these arrangements, they don't fit the budget. They're too big. But we'll just use 2 of these on the front. We'll use some of these, and then we'll do some long and low stuff on the other tables to try to blend into the budget. Because I'm afraid what some people do sometimes, they'll just say, well, what's your budget? I'll just do it for that. Well, why would you do that? If you really think it's worth $5,000 to do this, why would you just sell yourself short and say, well, I'll do it for free? In other words, give them the options and let them be the one that finally says, what's the most important thing, right? I always tell a bride, how long are they going to remember the dinner, right? How many legs of lamb or a couple pieces of dry chicken are they really going to talk about 10 years down the road from their wedding day? But if you can do a beautiful eventscape for them, maybe add a couple of those arches in the front entryway of the hall and decorate them up, I think you stand a better chance of being the one they call the next one. This next grouping is rather funny. Tim, I couldn't do these shows without Kim and David here. Obviously, Tim does a great job most of the time of bringing things out for me. But I'm sure they thought I've been very busy. I was in Miami last week. I was supposed to go to Chicago this week. So many times I think when we do these shows, they just assume I'm not going to make anything, right? So they do their things, which they tell me they're going to do, and then they do more. So this afternoon I get back from lunch and I'm rushing around, grabbing my containers, what I'm going to use. And I start them out. I'm going to use this galvanized look here, really beautiful look, isn't it? Kind of a French country look. And except I'm going to make mine multicolored, do some sunflowers and do a really cool kind of a grungy countryside wedding. And then Kim comes out, she's coming through the building and she goes, wow, I picked out all those containers and did my white look with those. I said, all right, well, we'll change up. So anyway, this is Kim's designs here, using some beautiful white kale. Isn't that crazy? I've never sold more kale in my life than we've sold in the last 6 months. Everybody's using kale. Kale must be the real popular flower. I haven't seen it a lot on Pinterest, but I guess it's probably falling in line with the that garden look, the natural garden look. And I gotta tell you, if you do sell the kale, I think it's great. But later on in the season, you should be going to the local greenhouse and just buying kale, or even the fruit market buying kale, because you get those bigger pieces, and it's a lot cheaper because of freight spend. Some Queen Anne's lace, a little bit of scabidosa, and some Lysianthus. Is Damien still? Let's see. I'll catch it real quick. Anyway, a little bit of western fern. I think Tim might have caught the top of the doorway with that one. Did you have something to say? Okay, just relax there. I'll tell you something. These people, at first they're at the back talking, then they're over here. All right, next thing I want to show you is steel grass. Okay, we talk about bear grass a lot, we talk about lily grass a lot, but we don't see it. It's very, very popular in the designs is the steel grass. You see some high-end where we stab the phalaenopsis sprays, or I'm sorry, the dendrobium blooms through the steel grass, and it hangs very nicely. The steel grass just gives you a much greater look. Some people call it elephant grass. It's not elephant. There is something that's elephant grass, which is just super long bear grass. This is actually steel grass. It's Australian, and it has a little bit stiffer blade to it, so it can stand up. And I love that container with that natural rope handle. Isn't that beautiful? What did you, is there a container I can slide out, or is it all jammed in?
It's not the edge together.
Was it? Okay. I'll let you take it away. Thank you. And I love these. I just call them the dryer vent containers. Look at what it looks like. It's a little dryer vent. It's good distress. And then the poppy pond, a little bit the edges. I like the way it makes a little bit more country with the pheasant feathers. A little bit of curly bow coming up the top. I think your containers are ever so important. And one of the things we did is when we were in the back, and Kim and I realized that we used the same, we're going to use the same containers. She's like, well, that's okay, because I'll do a white look and you do the multi-color look, right? I'm like, are you kidding me? I've got so many different containers out there. there's no reason for us to duplicate containers. I'm just going to go look for something else, and I'll use those containers instead. So, but I think having a nice assortment of containers to use for your events is very important. You don't want to get pigeonholed in, oh, that's the guy that uses the cylinder vases or uses the candelabra. I want to be known as a person who gets creative and very different things. And if I have to go to dryer vent containers, maybe that's what I have to do. Oh my goodness. Man. She's this way at work too. If you ever need a salesperson, she's great to find on the floor because she'll take you around the whole place. Anyway, isn't that great? It's like the top of a milk jug. Isn't that cool? We got a whole line of these, a couple different sizes. Here's a smaller version here. You see that Lysianthus? This is Lysianthus. It's not a white rose. It's not a sweetheart rose. It's opened up. It's Canadian Lysianthus. And that's one of the things. Can you go in the cooler and grab me a bunch of Canadian Lysianthus? And maybe those really tall mini cows from Canada too. Okay. It's a really different flower. First of all, it's a little bit smaller than regular Lysianthus, right? It has the same natural look, but it has more petals to it. Looks like a garden rose. The other thing you're going to see when she finds it, they probably don't have any in the cooler, so she's going to be gone for like 20 minutes. When she brings it out in a single bunch, there's probably 30 to 40 heads of the Lysianthus bloom, rather than just, you know, even the Brillianthus, which we're buying from Fresca Farms out of Miami, you get a good, I don't know, let's say 15 to 24 heads in a bunch, but it's not like this. There's even more heads. They're just a little bit smaller in height, but very nice average. I think when they open it more, and they have all the colors too. So a little bit of the Dusty Miller. And if you do a wedding today and you don't have Dusty Miller in it, you're just nobody, right? Everybody. And now the thing that kills me is like, I want the wide leaf Dusty Miller, I want the thin leaf Dusty Miller. It's like, listen, people, come on. I mean, I would have used baby blue eucalyptus back in the 70s. Now I got to use Dusty Miller. A little bit of Queen Anne's lace. And again, the poppy pods. Very popular. I don't know if people are drying those to get drugs going or what, but for the most part, very popular. And you see, it's a texture item, right? It's like a big pop. So it looks great. And then Kim, now David on the one hand went into the silk department, but Kim actually buys for our dry department. So she used some milk pods in her ring. I'm going to do this, don't tell her I did it. But she just a dry milk pod on a stick. It's just, again, it gives a very natural texture to any arrangement. And the green Cymbidium orchid sprays, the mini Sim sprays, any of you buying off of our, and I know you're not, because I know there's several customers too. We have an online ordering system called Holland Order Express. I encourage you to look into it, talk to one of your salespeople, go online. We have people buying flowers, you know, $200, $300, $400, $500 invoices. The pricing is Holland Direct. I think somebody bought some large green Cymbidium sprays and miniature green Cymbidium sprays the other day, because I get the invoices every morning when they buy, and they'll do it overnight. You go online overnight, you get a listing of the prices, and the Cymbidium sprays are like $12. I mean, normally, and I'm going to be pretty honest, that's what we pay for. I mean, it really is. But by buying online through our ordering system, you can get access to all of the prices that we normally pay. And of course, we get a kickback on the other side, let's be honest, right? We all have to make money here. But anyway, it's just a great value. It's a great opportunity. So if you haven't done so already, please contact one of your inside people. It's called Holland Order Express in Nordlie, Kennecott Brothers. And it's a great value. The reason I wanted to leave...
Could you repeat the name of the website?
Our website is Nordlie.com. But the ordering system that you want to go through is Holland Order Express. Pretty easy, right? Holland Order Express. Again, like David, you know, offer them different looks. Maybe the bride's budget is only $1,000, right? So we do 2 or 3 of these larger arrangements. We do 3 or 4 of these arrangements here in the squat milk jug. And then we do a half a dozen tables just using 2 small composite arrangements that only have, what, about 3 stems of green trick. This one's got mostly reindeer moss in it. That's what that bright green color is in the middle. It's reindeer moss. Very different. All three different looks. You can put them on three different tables. You can put them all on the buffet table and stagger them throughout. But that's what I say about being an event person rather than just a traditional retail florist. Give them options. You know, don't just try to sell them one look. No bananas. Okay, thank you. Yes, they're all set to go. We've been waiting for you. See, I told you there was no Canadian Louisiana, so I just had the feeling that. Isn't that gorgeous? It's like a 70 centimeter stem, maybe 80 centimeter, and it's a yellow. But don't confuse it. It's not a large head. It's not as big as a full-size cow, but it is a pretty big size mini cow. And again, and I've talked about this before, you know, if you're going to go for price and you want the cheapest cow we got, you're probably going to get a little 30 centimeter. And whether it's Canadian or Dutch or whatever, the head size isn't going to be as big. If you want a nice head size, you're going to have to pay for the stem length. And it's not that much more. Honestly, the Canadians are very inexpensive right now. They're really flushing in a lot of things. So if you have a wedding in the next 3 to 6 weeks, I really suggest you ask about these. Isn't that gorgeous color? And then the white. What is that white? Yes?
That Louisiana store, where did you say that you couldn't find it?
It's Canadian as well.
Ask for about it.
Ask for Canadian Louisiana, we'll know.